Accession into NATO and other topics is Jeyson J. Smart, political analyst, consultant, and writer for the Kiev Post. Hello, and thanks for joining us on World News Tonight.
Great to see you.
Absolutely. Now, Finland is in the news quite a lot today, yesterday. Now, first of all, does the change in government that we saw based on these elections this last weekend, does it have any bearing at all on the policy towards Kyiv?
I don't think so, no. The fact is that Finland is very clear that it supports Ukraine. Finland has experience of fighting against Russian aggression, Russian occupational attempts, and understands what the Ukrainian people are suffering today. And so I have no expectation whatsoever that the politics of Helsinki will change due to the most recent election results. The fact is that the people of Finland have been very clear that they support Ukraine and they support NATO's expansion and they support Western values against the atrocity that is the modern-day Russian Federation.
Right. Now, the irony of actual, Vladimir Putin not wanting NATO to expand has slapped him straight in the face today. Now, with this NATO being so close to St. Petersburg and Moscow, does Moscow's intention to guard that border, does it have any bearing on the situation in Ukraine?
The fact is that Vladimir Putin was lying this whole time, as we already knew. I mean, it was never about NATO expansion. The fact is, today, NATO's borders with Russia have doubled just by Finland's ascension to the organization, and that shows a lot. It shows that Vladimir Putin was always lying. He's full of it. He said that this is all about NATO. It's about Russian security, but it's somehow when Finland wants to join, all of a sudden he loses that interest. And why is that? Well, there's a lot of reasons, but the most important one is that Russia has a historic, very interesting moment is that it lost the Finns. The Finns, a country that's quite small compared to the Russians' massive population as far as physical territory, obviously much smaller than Russia's physical territory, and yet the Russians were never able to defeat the Finns. And I think what we see here right now is that, once again, Vladimir Putin was lying to the world, as he has historically always done. That is his probably favorite hobby, is lying, is that he was lying as the reason there's a war in Ukraine. The war was never about NATO. It was never about anything other than the fact that he wished to crush the Ukrainian state, and he does not believe that the Ukrainian nation should exist. This is his degree of, let's call it what it is, fascism that Vladimir Putin engages in.
Right. Now, of course, the one member that didn't make it in, the potential new member, is Sweden. Do you think that this is just a matter of time until Turkey finally allows Sweden to accede to NATO?
Oh, it's quite clear. Listen, Turkey is a country that's always played hardball. It always seeks to gain the negotiations, and I understand their point. They wish to somehow leverage the current vote for their interest. Okay, they're going to do that, but is it a question really? Does anyone doubt that Sweden is ready to join NATO? I don't think anyone seriously doubts that. Turkey is playing hardball, and it's going to try to get something, a return on its investment, let's say, of that vote. Now, it wants to have whatever weapons sold to it, whatever arms system sold to it, and it's going to push for that in order to give its vote for the final accession of Sweden, which is quite obviously necessary and something that will benefit not just Sweden, obviously, but all of the countries in NATO.
Okay, now I want to change gears a little bit. President Zelensky has arrived here in Poland. He's preparing for this historic visit in the capital tomorrow. What do you expect that we're going to see come from this visit?
So President Zelensky's got a few different items on his agenda. And I think one of the most important things he's got on his agenda is, one, to thank the Polish people. Poland has been a country, the leader in the world in supporting Ukraine. And that's because the Polish people, the Polish state, understands the threat that Russia poses. This is not an artificial threat. This is not a hypothetical threat. This is a real threat. And Russia's always understood that Poland is a country that can actually challenge even Russia. Poland is the future leader of Europe, along with the Central European countries, something the Western European countries, I think, are also scared of. The fact is that Poland, a Slav nation, is is a country that is going to be perhaps even in something that will challenge Russia in the future. Based upon that, President Zelensky is going to have to speak to the Polish people, or he's going to speak to the Polish people about a few issues. One is to thank them for their support, but secondly is also to make sure that there is a continuing support for Ukraine's plans. I mean, you all in Poland are facing elections soon. How those elections will turn out is uncertain. But when that does come out, no matter what the current government, what the new government might be, it has to be a government, or President Zelensky would hope, is a new government that will continue to support Ukraine's interests and to support the millions, literally, of Ukrainians who have entered into Poland and continue to need the support of the Polish state.
Okay, Jayson J. Smart, thank you very much for being my guest tonight. Appreciate it, as always. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's all the time we have tonight. Thank you for joining us, and stay